paused, just a question on process, so then we'll go back into in camera and
Yep.
then we'll come back to public meeting?
Yeah, we're just going to pass these resolutions so people can go home that don't need to be hang around till the very end.
Okay.
Okay, first resolution 10.1 is taxation matter. Uh, Moved by Deputy Mayor Miyashiro. Be it resolved that council direct that the closed meeting discussions, reports, documents, and presentations with respect to taxation matter remain confidential pursuant to sections 23, local public body confidences, and 25, harmful to economic and other interests of a public body of the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. And further be it resolved that council direct administration to proceed with the confidential direction provided in the closed session. Deputy Mayor Miyashiro.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I call the question.
Question's been called. All in favor? Any opposed? There are none. Thank you. Okay, next one, moved by Acting Mayor Higgin. Capital Improvement Plan update. Be it resolved that council direct that the closed meeting discussions, reports, documents, and presentations with respect to Capital Improvement Plan update remain confidential pursuant to sections 24, advice from officials, 25, harmful to economic and other interests of a public body, of the Freedom of Information and Protection and Privacy Act. And further be it resolved that council direct administration to proceed with the confidential direction provided in closed session. Acting Mayor Higgin.
Question.
Question's been called. All in favor? Any opposed? There are none. Thank you. Next, land sale, moved by Councillor Crowson. Be it resolved that council direct that the closed meeting discussions, reports, documents, and presentations with respect to land sale remain confidential pursuant to section 16, harmful to business interests of a third party, and 24, advice from officials of the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. And be it resolved that the 92-day extension of the option to purchase 3401 39th Street North to 2299172 Alberta Limited be approved. And further be it resolved that the purchaser to pay a non-refundable deposit of $22,990, and that will be attributed to the cash to close. And further be it resolved that the terms of the option to purchase amend to closing date to July 30th, 2021. And further be it resolved that the terms of the option to purchase be amended to include an option for the City of Lethbridge to buy back the parcel located at 3401 39th Street North if development had not occurred within a 3-year period in accordance with the option to purchase at the original purchase price. And further be it resolved that the Mayor and the City Clerk be authorized to sign the agreement. Councillor Crowson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Unless there's any questions, I will simply call the question.
Okay, there are no questions. Question's been called. All in favor? Next, I have a resolution from Council.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, it's Joe. I'm opposed to that resolution.
Okay, so noted. Anybody else? Okay. Okay, next, legal matter verbal. Who would like to move this? Councillor Morrow? Be it resolved that council direct that the closed meeting discussions, reports, documents, and presentations with respect to legal matter remain confidential pursuant to section 27, privileged legal of the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act, and further be it resolved that City Council direct that administration proceed with the confidential direction provided in closed session. Councillor Morrow?
Question.
Question's been called. All in favor? Is anyone opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you. Next one, moved by Councillor Kaufman, closed meeting omnibus motions, 10.3, 10.4, 10.5, 10.6, and 10.7. Be it resolved that Council direct that the closed meeting discussions, reports, documents, and presentations with respect to Westminster Area Redevelopment Plan, Land Matter, Human Resources Matter, External Board Commission, and Committee Verbal and Code of Conduct Matter remain confidential pursuant to Section 16, harmful to business interests of a third party, 17, harmful to personal privacy, 19, confidential evaluations, 23, local public body confidences, 24, advice from officials, and 25, harmful to economic and other interests of a public body of the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. Councillor Kaufman.
Thank you, Mayor Spearman. I'll entertain questions before calling the question.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
We haven't dealt with the code of conduct matter.
We will, but when we do, this would apply. It would still have to, it still would remain confidential under the sections of the Act.
Is that an appropriate way to deal with this? We've never done it this way before, so I just wanted to check.
Mr. Lowen, can we pass this motion now and then deal with 10.7?
I think you can pass it. If something happens in a discussion that would change it, you'd have to come out of camera and pass a different motion. But
These, whatever the discussions are, would still have to remain confidential under the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act?
that's right, unless there was some discussion there that you wanted not to remain confidential, in which case you could come out of in camera and pass that motion. But given that you probably know the subject matter that you're talking about, I think it's fair to pass it at this time.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Back to the mover, Councillor Kaufman.
Thank you, Mayor Spearman. Call the question.
Question's been called. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, that deals with all the public motions except for adjournment, which we would deal with after we deal with 10.7. So I'd ask for a motion to go back in camera. So moved by Councillor Kaufman. All in favor? Okay, and we'll just take a minute to shut everything down.